Hi, everybody, and welcome to A Seat at the Table with Saverio and Emily. And tonight we have our dear friends, Paulie and Maryanne G from Paulie G's in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So thank you, guys.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
We're so thrilled to have you.
We're really honored.
We're thrilled also.
We really are thrilled to have you guys. And I know you just got home from Vegas from the Pizza Expo.
Good.
So that'll give us a nice little thing to talk about later on, too. But thank you for taking the trip. I know you guys must be tired. So thank you for coming out.
Of course.
Tonight we're going to be talking about pizza, of course, running a family business, and Maryanne and Paulie's debut cookbook, Pizza from the Heart. I hope you guys enjoy this book as much as I do, and buy yourself a copy. Lots of great recipes. I think it's over 100. 100 recipes for pies, pasta, salads, and more.
Yep.
Great book, great pictures, too. So great job. Very well done.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, guys. So welcome to Long Island. Long Island. And Massapequa, home of a lot of pizza. So we're happy to have you guys in our little pizza shop. So tell me, guys, how did you guys originally meet? Because I like to get the backstory of everybody's love story. So I do love watching. Paulie does post a lot of pictures of like the early days of you guys. So it's nice to see the pictures of you guys as youngins. But tell us a story about how you guys met.
Oh, Bird, I'll tell us.
Okay.
I might edit.
We both used to take the same subway train to work, the RR. It's now the R. It used to be the RR. And I used to see her on the train all the time. And,
Quite as
caught
I.
my eye. But I wasn't going to talk to her on the train. But one night, we went out to what's now eventually called a disco in Bay Ridge, where it was the place to go, listen to good music and dance in the early 70s. At that point, it was 1976.
What place was that?
It was, at the time, it was called Jasmine's.
Sure, I heard of that.
Before that, it was something called Bojangles, and then eventually it became TJ Bentley's, right? And I was out with my friends. It was a Friday night, because you'd go out, on a Friday night, Saturday nights. And I walked in with my friends, and I was walking past the bar to go towards the back, and there were these three girls standing there, and there she was. And I said,
Fate.
I know you. You don't know me. I said, sure you do. You take the RR to work.
See?
And then it went from there. As I always say, I ignored her. I talked to her other friends all night. I think I asked her to dance once or twice, and, and just paid more attention to her friends than I did to her.
So you played hard to get.
And then on the way home, somehow, I don't know how this happened, but somebody bamboozled me, I guess. The bar was here. I lived here in they call it Kensington now. It's like Flatbush. And they lived over here. But somehow I took them home in car service. I didn't have a car at the time, right? But somehow I wound up there, and then I had to go home. And when they got out of the car, I said goodnight, and her friend passed me her phone number. See, I didn't ask for the phone, right? So her friend Maryanne,
So there was
another
interest.
Maryanne, passed the number. And to this day, she says she's responsible for us. And
I love that.
I said, nonsense. I said, you don't think that if next time I saw her on the train, I wasn't going to say something to her? But she wants to feel like she put it together.
Yes, the matchmaker.
That's all right.
You want to add something? Want to edit something?
I agree with most of the story, but basically, I do not recall ever seeing him on the train.
I didn't say you did.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't recall ever seeing him. And when he did approach me at the bar, as I say, it was probably likely story that he saw me or whatever. But he pursued. So, I'm not sure why my girlfriend gave him the number, though, because I never said to her, now that I even think back on it, that I was like interested in him. I'm not sure.
She knew I was perfect.
She knew you was a stud.
Perfect match.
But I always say my dear friend Maryanne, who's been there since day one, including in our business as an investor, and her husband is our business manager and accountant, have been there from day
Lifelong
one
friends.
for us.
That's
And
good.
I always say, if it wasn't for her, none of this would have happened.
That's
So
amazing.
God bless.
That is
Yeah.
wonderful.
we're very
Funny story.
fortunate.
And you have two boys. I know you
We
speak
have
very
two
highly of your
sons
two
and
sons.
we have two grandchildren.
That's amazing.
Our youngest son is now running our Philadelphia Slice Shop. He was our original pizza maker in Brooklyn when he was 18.
Mhm.
He's going to be 35 this year. And he opened the shop down there about 4 years ago. But after the first year, he kind of had a little bit of a meltdown, left the business, was
This
never
was the original shop.
the original
It's
shop.
Original
it's
shop
not
back
an
in
easy thing to
2010.
do,
He-
especially
he
working
was-
with family.
in Greenpoint. He lived in Brooklyn for that year, and it was rough the first year for us to get started. And I think it was very hard on him. He took a lot on his shoulders. And basically, he had it after a year, and he came home. And I said, well, you're either going to go to work or you're going to go back to
And
school.
what is his name?
Derek.
Derek.
And he basically went back to school, discovered psychology. And then he ended up going to community college and then TCNJ and moved on to get his master's in psychology from Drexel. And he ended up working in the fields where he was dealing with veterans at the
that's
hospital in
nice.
Philly, recruiting them into studies with heroin addiction.
Mm.
And I think he was starting to burn out from that. And I think he also saw sort of the life we were living, traveling and
Mhm.
enjoying things.
And his brother was
Right.
doing the same thing.
And so, then he came to my husband, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, because he'll be open 4 years in June
In Philadelphia.
In
in
Philly.
Philadelphia. And he's doing great.
I'll
Good.
clean this up in a second.
That's good.
And basically, he came to us and said, he wanted to open a shop in Philly.
He's ready.
And I said, here we go again.
Sometimes the kids just need a little bit more time.
Well, we always gave
Absolutely.
him the space.
What happened was I thought Philly was a great opportunity, but I never found anybody to do it with. I started this franchise company after like in 2014 or whatever. I never found anybody to do it with in Philly, and I kept on asking him. He was living there. He was going to
Yeah.
school there,
He'd
whatever.
be the perfect.
I'm not interested, Dad. Please don't talk to me about it. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And, and I kept asking, no, Dad, leave me alone. Leave me alone. And then eventually we went out one day for breakfast in a coffee shop. It was like a little milk crate, it was called, in North Philly, which was like an area sort of like Greenpoint.
Okay.
And in there, it had a music theme, and next door they had a vinyl shop. And he said, maybe I'd do this at a place if it was a bar and we served pizza, maybe something like that. Maybe we had a little vinyl shop, and it slowly crept in because he saw the money that we were making, and he knew that for him to do that, he'd have to get a doctorate. And I don't think he was crazy about continuing on that way.
Sure.
And, and it was, again, he was doing stuff, working with heroin addicts. They'll break your heart.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
sad.
just break
It's a
your-
rough thing.
Yeah.
Not easy. How many locations do you have altogether?
Well, I don't know. I stopped counting, but
Did you really?
they come and go. They come and
Okay,
go.
how many
They
have
are-
active?
Well, we have right now. I have a wood fire place which we started, which is now a licensed place. I opened up a slice shop in
slice shop.
Greenpoint, and we're kind of focusing on the slice shops these days.
Very nice.
And we have a slice shop in Philly that we own. Derek really owns it. Out of the goodness of our heart, he owns it. Okay.
Yes.
He earned it. He really did.
Yes, I'm sure.
And then we have a wood fire place in Columbus, Ohio, and we
Great.
have one in Chicago and a slice shop in Chicago.
It's amazing.
However,
Very nice.
we're opening up 2 more slice shops, one in Brooklyn and Gowanus,
Oh,
and
awesome.
another one in the East Village. And
Reverend Gowanus.
Lots of luck, guys.
right on the canal, Union and Nevin.
Union and Nevin. The old neighborhood.
Let me tell you something. You go
Only
there
My
now,
own stopping
you would
grounds.
not recognize
I
it.
know.
There are weeds there. There are weeds all around the canal, and each one of those weeds have about 40 stories worth of condos. It's incredible.
It's
work.
crazy. What
They
It's
they
amazing
clean
with
up
the
the canal.
transformation of downtown Brooklyn, right?
Unbelievable.
I mean,
know-
Sam grew up there, but we went there visiting. I went
Why-
in there a lot with his grandparents. I loved them to death, and it was like so nice to be in Brooklyn again. And it was like old Brooklyn then, and then it went kind of downhill for a while. But now the way it is now, oh my God! When we go back downtown, oh, we love it. It's beautiful.
My grandfather sold that house for $535,000 out of brownstone.
Now,
Hell of a lot of
Five-story
money.
brownstone. It was immaculate.
beautiful house.
Every other year, me and my other cousins, a couple of my cousins, would paint that building from the 5th floor down to the base, to the bottom. Two-tone, light brown and dark brown. We did it as a family. And my grandfather sold the house for $535,000. And that house is worth $7 million today.
5
Seven-
stories.
Five-story
story.
brownstone.
Yeah, 'cause it's a
Our
rental
first
unit.
place between Court and Clinton Street. It's amazing.
Beautiful house. We go visit it. We go.
I
It's so
still
fun.
go. You gotta say me. I look in the window like
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna get
Emily
arrested.
goes, "We're gonna get arrested."
Stop.
Yeah, I'll tell them, don't worry about
It's amazing what
Yeah.
they've done down there.
What's
So
great,
I
so
wish we still had
it.
it.
You have the best of luck down there.
That's really awesome.
That's a licensed place, as is the one in the East Village.
That's great.
What we do now, and really from the get go, is looking. I did not want to like have this big conglomerate of places and try to wrap my arms around it, control it, get other people to have our vision, and it was like I'm going to help other people do that.
That's good.
And that's what I think.
Good for you.
That's great. So now let's talk about your Hellboy pizza, because I know that was an award-winning pie, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So how'd you come up with that idea and using it has the hot honey on it, right? From
Correct.
Mike's Hot
Mike's
Honey.
Hot, not just any honey.
Not Mike's Hot Honey. Yeah,
You're
Mike's
right.
Hot Honey.
You're right. You're right.
What happened was we had opened, and I was looking to manage costs, and I realized that there are people who were interested in what we did, and so I realized that I could bring people in, teach them what we're doing, and they work for free just to be able to learn that. Now I have come since then to find out I probably was doing something illegal, but I changed that. Now everybody would get paid.
Mhm.
But I had them come in, teach them how to make pizza. And one night I would go and walk around and talk to the guests. And I went to this one table and talked with them. And this guy says to me, I'd like to learn how to, I've been making pizza at home. I'd like to, learn. He had heard that we're bringing on apprentices. I said, okay, come in Wednesday, talk to my son. His name is Derek. Come in at 4:00. We'll get you started by teaching you how to stretch. And I was about to walk away from the table. I said, oh, by the way, I'm going to bring my condiment with me. And I said, condiment? What's condiment? He said, don't worry, you'll see. So he came in with a little bottle of this stuff. And I wanted to help people, local artisans. I learned from my pizza Yoda that, and the way that happened was, my pizza Yoda's name is Chris Bianco. He has pizzerias in Phoenix, Arizona, and Los Angeles. And I went to visit him. Somebody helped arrange a visit for me and my son on the way. We were flying to Las Vegas after he
To
graduated.
go meet Chris.
Yeah, what happened was there were about 15 of us went out to his graduation from the Air Force Academy, my son Michael. And we said, I wanted to go to Phoenix to meet this guy, Chris, but I wasn't going to fly to Phoenix just to go have some
Right.
pizza with him, right? So I realized, well, everybody was going to Vegas afterwards. We decided, hey, let's go to Vegas and celebrate, right? And I realized, I could get a flight in the morning, stop there, go get Pizzeria Bianco, and move on. So what we did, he arranged for us to come and meet with him beforehand. And one of the questions I asked him was, I was trying to figure out, should I make my own fresh mozzarella or should I let somebody else make it for me? And I knew that he made his own fresh mozzarella. So I asked him, I said, Chris, what do you think I should do? He said, Paulie, I make my own fresh mozzarella because you can't find anybody out here making good fresh mozzarella. But if I were you, you're in New York, there's 100 guys
Right.
who are making great fresh mozzarella. They're local. You support them. They're going to support you. So I had that idea in my head, and I did that whenever I could, and that's why I wanted to do that with Mike. So, and
What an opportunity, though, for him as a young boy that just
Well, he
took a
wasn't
chance.
that young. I mean, he was
Right, but a younger man, like he
Yeah.
wasn't an older man, a
he
younger man.
wanted
He's
to
still young,
get
right?
that.
He looks young to me.
a lot.
you
A
know.
lot of people that started with us, like Mike and Scott from Scott's Pizza Tour.
Right.
We've known him since like 2007.
Yeah.
He came to our house for a pizza taste.
2009.
That's
Or
great.
2009. But like I look at them now, and we're
Right.
still
And that-
traveling in the same
love that.
circles with
And
them.
that's how we
like
met you
when we-
guys was through
When
Scott.
we go to the expo, like whatever, and we see them all the time because a lot of them are in New York. Like they were like maybe 27 when we met them.
Right.
And now like Scott's like 43 and he's a father. It's just like they kind of like grew
So
up
crazy.
with us.
Yeah,
in
that's
a sense.
amazing. But what an opportunity. Like when you stop think and you look back at that first initial moment when you guys met. And he's like, I'm going to bring a condiment to you guys. And now just look at what he's done. God bless him that he had this vision to create
Exactly. He
something,
had the
And
vision.
he's all over.
He
to
had the
create
vision.
something so
Nobody-
unique and that people
Different,
just,
very
it's
different.
different. It's a unique product. And you know what? For everyone, this pizza is all over the world. Let's face it. So to be able to offer this ingredient to change the dynamic or the taste of a pizza, it's just magic.
You know,
And
a lot
you
of it
gave
was
him that
timing.
opportunity, which is so great. I admire
And it
you
was
for
an
that.
opportunity for us because people started coming, just for that, and we grew up together with
It's
that.
so great.
We really did.
A lot
And
of
what
time.
happened was, I knew that I wanted to put it on the pizza, but I also knew that health department is not going to let you serve something that's made in someone's
Random
home
kitchen.
kitchen. So
Exactly.
I said, you have to come and make that here, and then we could do this. And that's how it all started in our kitchen.
That's
Because
so great. I don't think anybody really knows the back end of that story. Do people really know that?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, we've told
that's
it a number
amazing.
of times.
That's so
But
great.
he was coming in on a Monday, and we got so busy we had to open on Mondays. We had to close, so he had to make it in the middle of the night. Yeah, he'd come
Well,
in
where
the
there's a
middle of-
will, there's a way, and an opportunity is born.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great.
It is fabulous.
Yes.
It really is. It is all over. Everyone loves
You
it
know,
too.
on the pizza pier that day, it was all over the pizza piece. He was good.
And
God bless him.
I love when people ask me, "So you got a piece of that company?" I'd love to say no.
Yeah.
I just wanted to help Mike.
That's so great, though. It really
That's
is. So now I know it's like a question that we get asked very often. How is it working together as a husband and wife team?
I love it.
Good.
She does everything I don't want to do.
So that's awesome. Somebody's got to do it.
Except
great.
cook.
It's okay.
They keep me out of the kitchen.
You like cooking. I
No,
see
he
your
likes
videos. What'd you make? Chocolate chip cookies recently?
Oh, that was at Christmas time.
I saw that. I saw the chocolate chip. They look good.
That's my well done Toll House cookie.
They look really
Look-
good.
Emily said, "You got some."
Oh, my mom's making chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, these look good.
They are good. I have to.
They look
I
really
have to
good.
give him credit for that.
So
If you like nice soft chocolate chip cookies, go wrong with it.
They're kind of crunchy. He
They're-
likes to
That'd be
really.
crispy. Yep.
I could dunk them in my coffee or my
Yep.
milk. That's good.
Yep.
So if you had to remember did you ever have like one hot topic where you guys were like really going at it to the point where you had to come to a compromise, or do you always
Or you had to walk out, otherwise you're going to go to jail.
wouldn't go that far?
I don't remember any, but I just put it out of my mind because I always win.
He always sounds like we have the similar
Well, I mean,
personalities.
Let's face it. I'll chime in on this. I mean, it's obviously challenging to be in a business with any family member.
Right.
We never had that before. It might be different for you, but we didn't grow up with any type of small
Right,
business
you guys were
or business background.
in like the
We had-
workforce,
you know,
corporate.
and our families never had any type of shops. It was very, very different for us. But I think, the impetus for everything was he was in the corporate world and just hated it so much and always loved to cook. We always entertained at home. It was nothing for us to have 50 people for a Christmas party every year.
Love that.
Where he would do all the trays of food and everybody, the one party would be over. They'd say, "When are you having it next year?"
Oh, that's so
So
good.
we always entertained. So we knew hospitality, and he knew how to cook really well.
So,
I
Paulie, did you
don't.
learn from your parents or grandparents?
A little bit. I learned from my mother. My mother was a great Jewish Italian cook. Okay, she was an Ashkenazi Jew who learned to cook from my father's family,
Mm-hmm.
and she was great. And but more important than that, okay, back when I was growing up, Italian American men, they were great at the grill. Men didn't cook. Now some of the greatest chefs in the world, most of the greatest chefs in the world, up until recently, were men. But I didn't see that. I just saw the Italian American community we lived in, and men grilled, and the women cooked. You come home and I want dinner on the table. However,
Yeah, I get that.
my father was 47 when I was born. Okay, so he was a little older. He was working, and it got to be rough for him, and he retired. But my mother had to work, and my mother said to me, "says I'm not going to work all day and come home and cook.
So you
got to learn to cook." So I used to see my father cooking, and that green lighted me.
that's good.
Even though other people in our community didn't see that,
Right.
Right.
that allowed me. And then it was bad. I'd go and they'd go away for months at a time. They started going. I guess my mother retired too. They'd go down to Florida, and I got to cook. I could cook whatever I want, whenever I want,
Whenever you want,
right?
right.
And I remember I always loved ravioli and meat sauce. Fresh cheese ravioli used to be
There you go.
Silver Star when they had a factory.
Sure. I remember them. Silver
I
Star
cooked that.
ravioli.
And when I eat that, I remember one night I ate it. You know, that'll make you tired when you eat that, especially
All
a
the
lot, right?
carbs.
So there was a boxing match on. Muhammad Ali and Leon Spinks.
Oh,
right?
nice. Remember that fight?
And-
I watched
and
that
I-
fight.
Well, you know, Muhammad Ali's going to win that fight. So but I fell asleep. And I wake up, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And this has been one of the greatest, nights in the
missed
history
the whole
of boxing. I missed the whole thing because
Yeah.
the ravioli put me to sleep.
Hmm.
But in any case, so that's when I started cooking. And, I always cooked what I loved to eat. And I enjoyed that, right?
So
I just, sometimes I cook what she loved.
When I first started working here in 1983, I never cooked at all at home. My mom did everything. My mom was like a great. She cooked, cleaned, had no friends. She just worried about her kids and her house. That's how it was. And I never cooked nothing. So when I first started working here in '83, my father-in-law was a big cook. He liked to cook, Emily's dad. And he would tell me, go in the back to make some food,
Lunch for the boys.
lunch for the boys. So he says to me, go in the back and put the pasta up to
For
make
lunch.
for lunch. So I was embarrassed to tell him I don't know how to make pasta. So I go in the back and I put the pasta in the pot and I'm adding the water to the pot. This is a true story.
Uh-huh.
And my father-in-law walks in the back
Oh,
and he
I
looks,
just close my eyes and hear it.
and I'm not going to curse because he cursed to me that day, but he looks at me and he goes, Ma, what the hell do you do? And I said to him, I'm making
Pasta.
He says to me, you got to boil the water first and then put the pasta in. I said, I have no idea how to make pasta or anything. But
He's come a long way.
from not knowing how to make pasta, I have a full array of food here that they're all my recipes.
Yeah, he's come a long
It's all
way.
my stuff, but I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Cook. You knew how to cook. I had zero.
I just learned on my own. I tried to figure out. I used to
I
write
wish I did.
books. New York Times cookbook. I got a lot of recipes out of there. And
Mhm.
I just figured out what I wanted to have.
And you were good to go.
Yeah.
So now another question I had, I was thinking of at the shop in Greenpoint. Who is your favorite guest that ever came in? Anybody like that
Well,
really?
we had a
Besides
lot.
us.
Right, besides us.
Well, you didn't come until we were in business 10
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
And
exactly.
our lovely friend Jerry, who's now gone, introduced us.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Jerry wherever
Yeah.
you are,
Yeah,
because
Jerry.
quite frankly, I don't think we would have ever known you guys if it wasn't for Jerry. He brought you into the shop when we celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And since then, luckily, we've gotten friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God for Jerry.
Can you get this on camera? Is it possible for you to get this on camera? Zoom in. That's my favorite guest right
Let's
there.
see who that is. Wow,
Yep.
that's amazing.
John Voight.
Yeah,
And what
John
happened
Voight.
was, would you like to hear what happened?
Of course.
Okay. One night, some guy comes in. I'm executive producer. They were filming one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Ray Donovan. They filmed it right around the corner. And this guy was bragging about who he was. Nice guy, but he was bragging about who he was. And there was like 5 of them, and there was this woman there. And when he told me he was doing Ray Donovan, I said, listen, I love that show. I love Liev Schreiber. He's a great actor, but I want to meet Mickey. His name, the character is Mickey on the show, because he was just such a great character, iconic actor, right? So, and I told the woman, and I wasn't paying too much attention after that, and I don't know how she got my number, but this woman calls me, like, I don't know if it was that night or probably the next night. I'm coming in with John tonight.
Wow.
Well, turns out her job was to find him an apartment in North Brooklyn somewhere while they were filming the show, and she brought him in.
That's awesome.
Now, another celebrity story that I love. One night, I look, and it was in the corner, but Paul Giamatti. It was back to the room. Somebody like that, they want to hide whatever. And I gave him limoncello. I usually, if somebody comes in and they're a celebrity, I'll make like I don't know who they are, or
Right.
I just
Right.
Give them their privacy,
give them their
which is
privacy,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
So I did that with him. I brought him limoncello, and that was it. And then maybe 2 weeks later, maybe less, I don't know. I walk in and out on the big table, like with 5 people, There he is again. I said, okay, I got to say something this time, right? So what's his name? Old Giamatti, right?
Mm.
So I said, let me ask you something. Excuse me for interrupting. I apologize, but I just got to answer this question. He said, you were just in here a couple of weeks ago and you're back already? I said, was it the pizza? Or was it the name of it?
That's
And
great.
he laughed, he chuckled, and he said, oh, definitely the name of the place.
I love that.
That was good.
That is good.
Those are my favorite two
Luigi's.
celebrity stories. We got more, though, but
That's
That's
so
great.
good.
Well, I just wanted to chime in there. Unfortunately, for the first 8 years, I was still working a full-time job in New Jersey. So I wasn't in the shop a lot. Like during the week, I would
Mhm.
come on the weekends and
Weekends.
what have you. So many times he would call me up later and say,
Guess
you
who
know,
was
this,
here?
this, and this person was in, and I never really got to see anybody. The only person that I ever saw, I think, was Lou Reed. And they
Oh,
probably
yeah.
don't even know who
Super
that
Bowl
is.
Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday he came in. They didn't even want. We had a TV set. Never have TVs in the place, but it was the Giants. So he came in and he was out of it. He was reading the menu upside down.
Mm.
So she got to see him as a. But well, the one thing, James Brolin's daughter used to come in all the time. They lived in the neighborhood. So her brother, half brother, whatever, the other Brolin is the son.
Josh.
Josh Brolin. He came in one night with her and yada yada yada. Actually, I thought that she was his daughter until I looked into it a little further. But James Brolin had come in more than once, and of course she would swoon over him, and so and she was
Swoon.
never there for that. So
It's
We
awesome.
were in a great spot that we opened in Greenpoint because there was so much going on there at the time. I mean, there still is, but there's a lot of filming done in that neighborhood. Like every time you go out, there's signs
Something
up
going
that,
on.
and so you know, like I was walking on the street one day, and who was it? One of the Culkin, Kieran Culkin, like was walking past me, like in Greenpoint.
So
So
you're
like
in a really good spot.
Oh,
so
it's-
like
it's
a lot
great.
of people like live in that area, but they also do a lot of filming there.
Yeah.
So that's how we had
Got
a
a really
lot of
nice
people
spot.
come in.
I saw Kieran Culkin in the grocery store. I walked by. I said, "Let me ask you something. You know who I am?" He says, "No." I said, "Oh," I said, "I'm Paulie." "Oh, my wife loves your pizza." I said, "Well, what about you?"
That's too funny. So now, what are you guys up to now? You're traveling more. You're just enjoying the grandchildren.
We
You're
are
stepping out of work a little bit. You're trying to try and take it easy a little bit.
Well, I mean, you know, we still have our hands in things.
Of
We still
course.
have 2 shops that are ours, and we have the franchise
Mhm.
company. So, you know, we give advice and counsel for that.
That's great.
The 2 new shop owners in New York, since they're New York based, I've been able to sit with them and help them a little bit more to negotiate all the different laws in New York City and New York State,
Right.
and you know,
It's
talk about
tougher in the
Navigate.
city, right?
navigate HR stuff and all the things that you have to do to be in compliance.
Right.
Because I mean, New York State in general is rough,
ain't
but
easy.
New York City
It-
is
yeah,
tough.
it's
is
not easy.
an
It's tough.
entity unto itself, and it's a very challenging place to have a business,
It's not
especially
easy.
in the food business. So anyway, that's what we're kind of doing, more consulting along those lines. But we still have the 2 shops that are ours, and fortunately, you know, we've been able to have some good managers in both places now.
Do
One
you
of them,
find that it's hard to find like good,
Yes.
reliable
Yeah.
employees? Because that's a lot of the struggles that we find. Like we have our core employees here are just wonderful. They're great kids. They've grown with the business. They're wonderful. But when they need time off and you have young kids, that's where we're like, oh boy. And you know, like every season, like we're trying to bring new people in because then the older girls get like they graduate college, they get their real profession, which is wonderful. And we're happy for them, but then we hate to see them leave. And they end up working in the weekends or night shifts with us. And it's great. We're blessed to have them. But that's the biggest struggle I find as a small business owner is finding
The right help.
the right help.
I don't want people to stay forever. I want them to come and go. I don't, first of all, people stay forever. You wind up having to pay them through the roof, right? They're reliable, but I like to rotate people. I like when I can to find people who want to open up their own shop.
Right.
And in this case, we have to.
How do you handle it though when they don't have how do you handle it when they don't have the money to come up and open up their own shop?
I didn't have any money.
No, I understand
I
that.
teach them what I did. I teach them how you can. we raised the money. At first, I went to people in our town. We lived in a very affluent town, a lot of trophy homes. But I knew these people through our son's sporting activities. And I built this little oven at home, and I had this dream of doing this. And I put together a business plan. I went around to them, and they kept on asking me, well, that's fine, but what about you? You got any skin in the game? I'm asking them to invest. I don't have anything.
Right.
I had bills.
Right.
So, eventually we took out a home equity line. I went to her. I said, we got to do something. And she said, thank God she did. She says, you know what? If you don't do this now, when are you going to do
Right.
it? But I went back to those people weren't interested. But when other people saw how serious I was, people who came to our home and had our pizza, all friends and family, they chipped in
That's
10,000 here,
amazing.
10,000
That's
there.
good.
But I learned from another pizzeria owner. You ever hear of Motorino in Brooklyn?
Mhm.
Sure.
The owner, he lives out in the Hamptons now, actually, Matthew Palombino. He told me about this structure. He called it a flip, where you raise the money, you sell a percentage. I was selling 1% of the business for $10,000, and but when you start paying out profits, they get the lion's share of the profits. And then once they've gotten an equivalent of what they contributed, then it flips, right? So I could show people how they can put up 25. We put up 25% of the capital, and my friends and family put up 75%. And today we own 80% of the business; they own 20. And I show them. I said, look, you just have to believe in yourself.
Right.
I've so much wanted to open up this place in Los Angeles. I love this street. It's probably the best street in all of Los Angeles for pizzeria. And it was available, and I never had anybody out there who people would come to me and say, listen, if you ever want to open up in LA, I want to help you. I want to be
Right.
a guy.
Right.
But when it came down to it, they
Then
didn't
there
believe
was
they could
nobody
get the
around.
money.
Yeah. Right.
And I missed out on those opportunities. But you have to explain to people that what we did and how they could do that. And then, and plus now they have our name to
Right.
use for that.
It's
You tell
leverage.
somebody,
You built
you know,
yourself a brand.
yeah, I'd like you to invest in this pizzeria I want to open. I'm opening up with this guy, Paulie G, and they have a great reputation. They won awards, 50 Top Pizza Award. The Hellboy was the Pizza of the Year,
What,
and
2023,
our
right?
pizza served in Madison Square Garden. Now they can go to somebody who,
Right.
and they
And
have
say
more
this is
confidence that this
right.
person
Yeah.
will be successful.
Because we've had people that want to open up, but they have nothing to offer. And I can't, I find it difficult to just say, okay, open up a place and you have nothing involved with it. Then, you're not going to care. And I have people like that really want to open up.
Real estate people call you all the time and say, I got this spot.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but who do you have?
Who do we have?
I
Right.
just got one 2 days ago in the city, in Manhattan. We'll open up a place in Manhattan. But, who's coming up with the money?
But the beauty, if you try to do that yourself, now you have to find somebody who's going to have your vision, or you have to instill your vision in them. And you know what? They're going to be gone. They're going to be gone. They're not going to stay there forever.
Right.
Right.
So, but if
They don't need.
you do what I want to do, what I've been doing, whoever opens that is the owner of the business. And as the owner of the business, who operates this business, treats this business better than you?
Right.
Anybody?
No.
Nope. So in this case, they will do it the same way. So that's the approach we take.
That's
Well,
good.
that's a great plan. It worked
Yes.
for you guys. I'm so happy that worked for you
Well, I
guys.
wanted to just interject that I think also, we always look for people that have a passion for it,
Right.
especially in the pizza business because it's such a niche market.
Mhm.
But that's the world we revolve in, is like pizza crazy people,
Right.
And basically, if you want to go into this type of business, you really have to love that.
Right. Like
More-
Scott.
Like,
Look at what he
like
created.
more than anything. And he always, and I did too, growing up in Brooklyn. I mean, that's what we ate. I mean, I was telling somebody, I was on a podcast the other day, and I was saying that, when I grew up, we would be able to go out of school at lunchtime. And on 15th Avenue and like 73rd Street, there was a bakery. And you could go in
They
there
have
and get
bakeries have
get
really
get
good
the pizza
Absolutely.
for like 15 cents a slice.
Yeah.
But that's what I remember. And when I grew up on 77th Street, there was a pizzeria around the corner. And
Still there.
yeah, it's still there. And on Friday nights, we would order pizza every Friday night from Crispy Pizza, which was a small place at the time. And now they're very, very popular. They have like 5
Yeah.
different locations across New York and New Jersey. So I think that you have to, whatever it is, whatever the business is, I think you really have to, that's the key. You have to have the passion for it, because if you don't, you'll run away as soon as it gets rough.
When it
And
gets
you're
tough.
right, you know?
Yeah.
When we opened up
And you
here,
also, I'm sorry,
again,
but very important, you
Yes.
have to believe you could do it.
right.
I mean, I went around and I saw the people who did this, and that put the belief in me. Because if I didn't believe that I could be successful at doing this, when I ran into problems, invariably I was going to do that, you might, just like she said, walk away.
Right. You know, we opened up, her and I, we opened up, when I first opened up the pizzeria here, I also had the pork store. Don't forget, that was my main
Focus.
business, was my pork store. I was here at 7:30 in the morning, every morning. I'd work her and I until 9:30, 10 o'clock every night. For a year and a half, we did that. We would come, I would come in the morning here at 7:30, do what I have to do over here, then go next door. And then start the pizza day. And then her and I will do what I have to do for the pizza, finish here 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, go home. I would go to sleep with the flour on my body so I didn't have enough strength to take a shower, and come back to work the next day at 7:30 in the morning and do it all over again.
It was a long
We did this for a year and a half.
stretch before we got into like a
There
rhythm
was
where we
days that, and I'm not just saying this, there was days I couldn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't leave that pizza bench to go to the bathroom because
were
the
making,
line was out there. There's only
But
me.
you did it.
but we did it.
Did it.
But besides being all
We
you,
did it.
you know that
You
you
know,
can make it
I
work.
felt
You
I
looked at
could
a
have
guy
done
like
it.
me who knew
Right.
nothing. You grew up in this whole
No,
thing.
I really
Nope,
did it.
we were like I said to Maryanne, or I might have
I
said to someone else, we
did
were
it.
always food people. Like we always had food and sold food and were in the food market, but we never were pizza people.
No.
It's different.
Before I came
It's
here, I used to
different.
drive a high-low. I was a forklift driver in Manhattan, in the New York Coliseum. I was a Teamster before I came here.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about food. I told you before. I couldn't.
Yeah, no,
I
you've
I
come a
couldn't-
very
I
long
couldn't
way.
boil pasta,
Very long way.
but I had a vision that I wanted to make pizza. I wanted to do it, and
What gave you
and
that
we did
vision?
it. What gave us that vision was when I said it and the last time was we went to
Whoops, you good?
we went to Italy, my wife and
Your resume updated?
we went to Italy, my wife and I, and we went to Naples. It was their theater district in Naples, Italy, and we had pizza there. My wife,
It was delicious.
it was delicious pizza.
It was so good.
And I said to my wife after we had dinner, it was Emily's cousins took us there, and we went there, and we got to try to do this at home, and that's how I got
That was
that
the
vision.
spark.
That was a spark.
Did you do when you said home? You mean home or in here?
Here,
On here. But he always made pizza at home for the kids when they were growing up.
I
He
made it in my
pizza in the fireplace.
I had a guy make me a insert for my
Oh,
fireplace.
see, so you always doing it.
Yeah,
And I made
it was
pizza
fun. The
on my
kids
kitchen
did.
counter. And we used to have it for the kids.
They loved it. They would sit around the fireplace and
We'd
would
make
watch
pizza.
the pizzas cook in the open fire. And it was great. And they loved it. And that was how, I mean, that was really the beginning, was those first pizzas in the fireplace.
Then
It
I
was
came
great.
here to make pizza. Now I'm making pizza for 10 years. And what do my kids do? They buy me a pizza uni oven for my
Oh.
yard. I said, listen, I'm done making pizza.
Whoever inherits that oven, we were just at Pizza Expo. I met the guy, the uni owner,
Mhm.
and they make this turntable for pizza. It
Ah,
goes
so
in
it
the
doesn't
oven.
burn.
You don't have to turn it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have it in my garage with the cover on it still. Never used.
Not used
Yeah,
yet.
well, whoever inherits it, like I said, don't look into that.
So how was the
turntable.
transition? That's to go off topic. How was the transition from going to like the whole pizza restaurant like we have here with the whole pies to the slice shop? How was
It
that
was-
transition?
well,
Like it's a
it was-
different.
It revitalized this in a way.
It did.
We were successful, and we had people waiting, and now we had to have this new challenge. I never made New York style pizza. I didn't know
Right.
what to do.
Right.
I had to look for people to do it. I had a guy that worked for me, Andrew Brown. He was very helpful. He wanted to do this, but we had to learn what to do.
Well, no,
You know.
all over.
All over.
Fortunately, we had a lot of people who were willing to share information with us and help us, and do that.
What the heck
We
is going on back
Bang,
there?
bang, boom in the kitchen.
Don't worry about
Hello,
that. That
bloopers.
makes it seem authentic. Don't worry about it. Makes it you think that you're not really on some stage.
Seriously. But,
Yeah.
and that's funny because people say, how do you find time to do all this? And I go, we do it and we want people to see that this is like really us. Like this is, you get what you get with us. And
You know,
here we go.
Well, we're at the spot now that my wife and I, that we want to, like I told you earlier, we were dabbling with the American style pizza. I was telling you earlier. And that's where we're at now, too. We're thinking about doing something. It's going to be my own, though. It ain't going to be like an American pizza. It's going to be Saverio's American pizza or Emily's American pizza. It's going to be. We're going to do it our way.
I like that.
We're going to make this like
Oh,
half Italian, half American, and make it our way.
yes.
What we
And
like.
it will invigorate
It will.
when you do that.
It really will. I feel that something.
We
we're
look
gonna-
forward to trying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also I noticed the hat
Just
collection.
don't quote the Hellboy when you do it.
No,
Never
no,
have.
Oh boy, that's
So
what
if I do, I'm going to say,
No, you still got a lawyer. Okay? I had a guy.
you have a guy.
Somebody told me, hey, there's a guy in Charlottesville, Virginia, who's calling their pizza the Hellboy, right? Okay, so I had this happen a couple of times before. I said, listen, I have this trademark, you can't do that. And so far, everything was fine. So I talked to the guy, and he understood. Next thing you know, he sends me his menu, I guess. And you know what he named the pie? Paulie G said, I can't call this the Hellboy.
that's how we have our Detroit pizza that we make, a deep style. We trademark the Piqua.
Oh, yeah.
So half Detroit, half Massapequa.
Massapequa.
So we trade that. We trademark that. So this is nice also.
The hats. How many hats, Paulie?
Please don't tell them.
Well, I have a lot, but I have an account, Paulie G's Pizza Hat Project, just for the pizza-related hats. $460 right now.
Wow.
$460.
And I have about 20 more on deck. I went to Pizza Expo. I came home.
Oh, I'm sure
so-
he came with a whole bunch of hats.
So, I post those, and but I have a whole bunch. Like after a while, I have this chest I keep them in, and it's not, it's not big enough for all of them. So I get a hat. I have to retire. Fortunately, I have a shore house
retire
now,
the hat.
and that's where your hat is. That's why I didn't have your hat to wear here tonight.
That's
We're in the process of getting all new merchandise.
We have to do that. We're working on that too.
Getting that done now. I just met a guy that we're gonna switch over probably a little bit, and we're gonna have all new hats made, all new stuff. So you'll have many hats. I'll give you one in each house.
All right, sounds good. That's
There you
what
go. Now let's talk about this lovely cookbook.
Okay.
All right, Maryanne, what was the inspiration? Why did you want to put a cookbook out?
Well, it's a long story, like
Okay.
everything else, but it had always been in my brain pretty much from the time that we started. For a long time, when people came in and would speak to us, or Paulie,
Trying to find a
myself or
picture I love.
Paulie, they would always be asking the same questions. And I think that they were enamored with the story because we were a little bit older, let's face it, when we started. We had never been in hospitality or the pizza or food business. So I think it was just very interesting to people. So they kept asking a lot of questions, and they would always say, oh, it's so inspiring, what you've done and whatever. And he would always turn tables on people and say, so what did I inspire you to do? But in any event, I had been thinking about it forever, and it just never seemed to be the right time. But in the beginning, the first couple of years, I did a lot of journaling because I had a friend of mine, Lori, who said from the beginning, oh, you need to write these stories down, because some of them were just crazy. I had an employee who thought, he saw a ghost in the basement, so he didn't want to come to work. I mean, there's always crazy stories in hospitality. And so I did write a lot of those things down. But after a couple of years, I stopped doing that. And I don't know, it was just always like a seed that was planted in my mind. I just felt like more than just the recipes, because I don't really look at it as a recipe book, even though there are a lot of very good recipes in there. Only a couple of mine. I mean, most of them are his. But really, I wanted to get it out there just to inspire people to step out of their comfort zone and go for something if you have a passion for it. But to also realize, in order to do that, you have to make changes.
Mm,
If you keep the status quo, that's
It
what you're
stays
going
the
to get.
same.
right.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to keep getting what you get. There you go.
But in any event, it was always in my mind. Like it just kept festering there for like 10 years, And I had a friend of mine in New Jersey, Colleen, who we met on a pizza tour. And she was a writer and a freelancer. And she said, I'll help you with a proposal.
That's
I
so
think it's a
great.
great story. And that was probably in 2019.
So it's been a while.
And then the pandemic happens and
Right.
that kind of got put on the back burner. And it just wasn't really happening. I couldn't focus on that during the pandemic. And then we eventually ended up moving back to Brooklyn full time, like in the end of 2020, or, around 2020. And I happened to be in the restaurant one night. And that's how all the stories happened here. No, literally. It was always somebody we happened to just meet and put us in touch with somebody else. And this lovely lady said, oh, you really should write a book. I had so many people say that to me over the years. And she said, oh, I have a friend that's with an agency in Brooklyn, the David Black Agency. And she said, I'll have her give you a call. And that's how it started.
That's great.
But I didn't use my friend Colleen to do the proposal because then I was, back in Brooklyn and she was in New Jersey. So I had to change some things. And then we seriously, had to work on a real proposal once I got an offer. And, luckily I had like 3 calls.
That's great.
With big publishers. One of them was Simon & Schuster. We had 3 offers. And, I took the higher offer only because I really liked the company better. It was Union Square Publishing. I liked their vision. I liked the phone call. I do a lot on vibes and instinct. We always have.
With your
Sometimes
gut
the
instinct,
numbers
it's
don't
true.
line up. And we can drive people like crazy with that because we're really not business people. When I say that, people look at us like, really? But we're people. We do a lot on instinct. If we feel it's right, sometimes the numbers, like I say, don't line up, or we don't even look at the numbers because, like, even in the beginning, like when we were starting, I don't think we were really seriously focusing on numbers. I mean, we were just trying to do something different.
I just knew that other people did it, were successful, and I just did that. And, I didn't follow blueprint.
Right.
I did things that made me comfortable. I worked in the corporate world for 30 years, and I just wanted to do, if I was going to be uncomfortable doing it, I didn't want to
You
do
want
it.
to do it.
If it's going to put me out of business, I'd have to, grind it out. But I always chose ways to do it that I was most comfortable.
Comfortable with. So what's your favorite recipe in the book?
Oh, well, there's so many. I mean, obviously, most of them are his. You wouldn't want mine because there's only a couple in there. And there's a few people that are just always so sweet to me because they know I'm not the cook. But Scott will always say, Scott's Pizza, because he had our salad at home. He came to our original pizza tastings and he would always say, oh, you make the best salad, Maryanne. So that recipe is in
All
there.
right. I can't wait to try.
But I mean, everything he always cooked was delicious and good. So
Yeah, they're all home recipes.
they're all home recipes.
Again, I said I followed cookbooks and stuff, but sometimes I would just wing it.
Sure.
Right. And it comes out good.
And in that book, we mentioned the publisher. They did we picked out a great photographer. They gave us some choices.
Yeah, the
guy
pictures are
was
really
great.
nice. They did a
And
great job
the
on the
thing that-
pictures.
The other connection that I love about this book is one of the person who made those pizzas. They had worked in a wood fireplace and in a slice shop. He'd worked some days in the wood fireplace, some days in a slice shop.
So good.
All of those pizzas in that book were made by the guy who's opening up the Guana shop with his brother.
Oh, that's awesome.
Logan. Yeah, Logan.
The things come
Yeah,
full
we
circle.
have there's so many stories in the book. I mean, I could probably do another volume because that was the hardest part for us because I
Picking
always,
and choosing what
well,
you
no,
want.
I always felt that we would not have done well unless we had a really great community of supporters and collaborators. I mean, there's just no way because we're not that great at anything. We're really not. No, I mean, we're
That's
not
true.
business people. We're really people. And I think that's what drew people to us.
Mhm.
And then people came to us that had different products like Mike and Van Leeuwen was the first. We were the first people that sold ice cream in the shop. And I'm still friendly with the owner. And they have like 300 locations. And
That's great.
she was wonderful. When I wrote to her, she gave me their vanilla ice cream recipe for the book.
That's
So, I
awesome.
mean, like there were just so many stories. And that was the hardest thing for me was to sit and put a lot of this together, but also to not like leave anybody out
Right.
because there were so many people
Right.
in the story. And at the end, I have the pizza hit list, which they call it. These are all people we know all across the country and in other parts of the world that have pizzerias that have either worked for us, we visited, we've been friends with. And that was the hardest thing, like to
Mhm.
sit and put that on paper
Right.
and feel like we didn't forget somebody. Like that was torture for me, like that whole process of it. But we ended up having that in the book. But it's just been such a gift. I mean, I didn't even care if I made $1 from the book, and I still
Right.
don't.
Right.
It was just a matter of trying to inspire people to step out of their
Put all
comfort
your
zone
thoughts into writing too.
and to do something different
And help other people.
and help other people.
Yeah, the guy who has the 2 pizzerias in Chicago, we go. He wasn't even there this year. He couldn't make it because he's opening up on his own. He's opening up a bar. I forget the name of it. But, go to the expo, and he likes he purchases a lot of Galbani cheese. Go to the expo. There's a guy that I helped get started. We helped get started. They had this tower at the Galbani booth, like 20 feet high, and there's this big picture of him, on there. This is
That
something that I helped get
must feel
started.
Makes you
great.
feel great.
It really does. It really does.
You know what I think really feels the best? I mean, not even what we've accomplished, that's fine. But it's just helping everybody else that we've met in some small way. Like we have a woman that made pizza with us and she moved out to LA and opens up her own shop.
That's awesome.
And she's just sent me her t-shirt with this beautiful card saying, I would have never have learned to make pizza if it wasn't for
That
you.
means everything.
And so like just the stories of just being a little piece of somebody else's life and helping them along the way.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about, huh?
It really,
It really is.
Sometimes you can't help everybody, though. I had this one guy called him Billy Martin. If you know anything about
Billy Pointed.
baseball, Billy Martin. Billy Martin got fired 5 times.
Uh-huh.
We really loved this guy, but they just did things that, if we didn't fire him, we'd be setting a bad example, right?
Yeah, right.
5 times, and we just, he was he aged out of a foster child program, but we just, we want to give people the opportunity. They,
Right.
they help us, we help them.
Exactly. That's what we do here a lot too. We try. We try to set that example to be a good role model for the young people that work with us. And God willing, we'll be able to help some of the ones that we have with us. That's our goal, is to set the boys up in a space of their own, with the Saverio's name. So I admire you guys for what you've done, and I'm hoping that we could sort of do the same with our brands.
You can. You absolutely can.
Yeah, I mean, God willing, that's the next step for us because we ain't getting any younger, and I think it's time for us to.
At least he has hair.
Oh yeah, he's got a great head of hair, but that was in the prenup. He had to keep his hair because there was no money in the prenup.
You can put that in the prenup?
They weren't doing prenups then.
There was
I'm talking about a long time ago.
Maybe in the future, if you wouldn't mind, you could give us an idea of how you did it, and we could try to hopefully do some.
get things
Uh,
going.
I'd love to do that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think I gave you a lot of examples
You
already
did.
tonight.
You did. You definitely did.
But the most important thing, you always got to believe you could do it.
Yeah. That's one thing we do. We believe in ourselves.
Yeah, we do.
You mentioned where you grew up in Carroll Gardens,
Right.
South Brooklyn. One of the greatest examples for me was Mark Iacano with Lucale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked at him. I didn't go to culinary school. I didn't do nothing.
Mhm.
I cooked at home and that was it. I looked at him. He was a marble countertop fabricator. I find
Yeah.
it so hard to say that. And he had a pizzeria, and you can listen to a story. There's another podcast, Growing Up Italian, and he was on a couple of weeks ago. He'll tell you how he went through the whole thing, but he never made pizza in his life, and he gave me the belief Okay. I saw that somebody who didn't have that kind of background could do it. And once I had that belief, I pushed forward.
Yeah,
So
no,
you just got to believe you could do it. You got
absolutely.
look, you got an example in me in that, I was able to form a company that did that. And, we're still doing it,
Yep. Yeah.
So love to any time.
Thank
God
you.
willing, that'll be the next direction, next steps we take.
Yeah, love to help.
God willing. But it's been a real pleasure speaking with you
Thank you
guys.
for having us. It's an honor.
I hate sign-offs. I just hate sign-offs.
We really love you guys so
We
much.
hate saying goodbye.
Yeah, well, we don't have to say
Say
goodbye. We can
goodbye.
hang out.
It's like, I'll see you later.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like I hate when the podcast ends.
So, guys, one more question. Where could everyone follow you guys on Instagram, and where are your locations? And Maryanne, where could the people buy your book?
Well, the book is available. You could find it on our website, paulieg.com. There's a link on there. It's also sold in Amazon and bookshop.com. So there are links on the website or on our Instagram page. It's The Real Maryanne G. That's my new Instagram name, at the advice of somebody that's a little younger than me. Because there were a couple of Maryanne G's out there. And I initially, when I signed on, I wanted to just be Maryanne G-E-E, but somebody else had that. So I had to put one at the end. And then somebody recently said to me, "Oh, I think you should change that and do this." So I just did that.
Good.
And then Paulie G, it's
Paulie
just
G, Pauliege. Then we got Paulie G's _ slice shop. We have Paulie G's Logan Square. We have Paulie G's Short North. We have Paulie G's Wicker Park. We have Paulie G's Gowanus coming up. Paulie G's East Village Slice Shop.
I can't wait to come to the Gowanus one.
Yeah, be
Can't
there.
wait to come. We're gonna
Be
be
there.
Paulie G's. One more. Let's
One
not
more.
forget. I don't want to forget anything. Paulie G's Soul City Slice Shop in
Wow.
Philadelphia.
Philly.
We'll
Your
be
son.
at Gowanus.
We'll come to Gowanus for sure.
well, please.
It's a great. It's as I like to say. It's next level. It's next level because they got 2 levels there.
Oh,
You
nice.
got a second story. They can have private events up there because I don't like to. I give my licensees autonomy because it's very important. People got to feel like they really own the place. If I'm dictating everything they do, they're not going to feel like the owner. But people do things that I don't recommend sometimes. But one thing that I don't do, and knock wood, I say never, except maybe if it was God forbid, my funeral one day, is close for private events. I know what it feels like to walk up to a door and see that sign when you think, you go there. So, but in this case, they could have a private event
Right,
upstairs.
upstairs.
And still downstairs.
Yep.
We do that when we can in the slice shop. Our slice shop in the front is pretty small, but it allows us to still enable people to come and get pizza. So, but this place, second story, has a roof deck outside. Yeah, it's going to be really nice.
That's going to be amazing. That's
Nice.
so good. All
God
right.
bless.
So again, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We appreciate
Of
having you. We
course.
love talking with you guys. You have a great story, very inspiring. That you're inspiring so many people and lots
And
of luck
helping
with-
many people.
and helping a lot of people.
That's important.
It
For
is.
the
That's
people,
great.
you'll help yourself.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, this is a Saverio's podcast. So thank you for listening. And we look forward to having a lot more guests in the upcoming weeks ahead. And as always, we love you guys. We'll see you soon.